Hello once again, our most developed student. My name is Confident and welcome to our 24-minute lesson. This is the ultimate guide in maths, science, career guidance, as well as a sneak peek into my personal experiences. This is a channel designed with you in mind. Let us dive into today's lesson. In this video, in our ultimate guide for grade 11 mathematics, we are looking at the topic, as I said again, equations and inequalities, but we are still looking at equations and we're continuing from the previous lesson, and in this lesson we are looking at what? The quadratic formula, and then after that we are also going to be solving this through completing a square. So you definitely need to get grab hold of this lesson. You don't want to miss this very important section. It says solve for x correct to 2 decimal places, including completing a square. Now guys, these are the hints. If they say correct to 2 decimal places, the moment they put that, just know you are going to use the quadratic formula. Just know that whenever you find yourself saying correct to 2 decimal places, just know that it's going to be the quadratic formula. Look at this. If I'm going to say, let's solve this question, first of all, let's start with the first one. 2.1. It says you're given 5x squared minus 5x plus 1 equal to 0. So now you need to know the quadratic formula, but before that, first of all, you must understand where it's coming from. It's coming from a x squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. It must always be standard like this. Sometimes they can give you a question like this to say, they can rewrite this and say 5x squared plus 1 is equal to 5x, and then they say solve for x. It's your duty to take it back, but when you're taking it back in this format, you start with the squared, which is 5x squared. From positive becomes negative 5x first before 1 plus 1. Why? Because you want to write it in standard form. So it's good that they gave you here in standard form. Why are you doing that? So that you can match. This x squared is called the coefficient. So the coefficient of x squared here is 5 and here it's a. Then the coefficient of x, it's minus 5, and then it matches b, and then c is the constant there. Are you seeing that? So you're able to say a is equal to 5, b is equal to minus 5, and c is equal to 1. Do you see that? Then you can then quote the quadratic formula, which says what? X is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You need to know this formula by head. Alright, x is equal to, it's your duty to know the formula by head. Now it's minus b. Now look at this, it's minus. What is my b? My b is negative 5. But you see, there are 2 negatives. So you put a bracket and say minus 5. That's where common errors always occur. There is a negative from the formula, which is that one, and there is a negative of the question. And then plus or minus square root of b squared. So you put everything in bracket. Minus 5 squared minus 4. A is what? A is 5. And c is 1 all over 2. A is 5. Always see the brackets. You see the brackets that I'm having there. So x is equal to, it will give us 2 answers, or x is equal to. So that is a very important part. So what you do is fraction, which is minus bracket minus 5. See, start with the positive one, square root of negative 5 squared minus 4. A is 5, c is 1, close it, all over 2 bracket 5 equal to the first one. You have to remember they say 2 decimal places, so there is this 0.72, but you can round off with the calculator shift setup, and then you've got 6 there. Then you say fix means how many decimals do you want us to round off. Then you say 2, then you press SD. You see 0.72. Check the other one, go backwards, delete, put minus, instead of 0.72 press SD is 0.28. See that 0.72 or 0.28. Then this becomes the what? The answers. But you can test. It's always not safe for you to leave it like that. You can test this. So where there is your answer, where there is this, now I just want to show you with the calculator. Remember, the calculator keeps the last answer. So we are going to say 5 answer squared minus 5 answer plus 1. That's what you do with the calculator. If you want to test it, don't use the 0.72. It's already rounded off. It won't give you the actual answer. Let me show you what I mean by that. If I take the calculator here, and with that I just want to test. Remember, as I said, this is the last answer I have. If I say AC and then I say answer equal to, you see it's rounded off, but if I say shift setup 6, or actually let me say AC answer equal to, if I say shift setup and then say 8 norm, then say 1, say SD, that's how you take it back. You see, this is the actual answer, the one that is not rounded off. So which means my answer is still there. So I'll say 5 answer squared, remember x squared, minus 5x, which is 5 answer, plus 1. If it gives me 0, then I'm correct. That's how you test it. If you put the 0.28, you might not get the exact 0. So that's the first part. What did you do? We solved for x using the quadratic equation. Now let's solve for x completing a square. So let me write this differently here. So we've got 5x squared minus 5x plus 1 equal to 0. We want to get the same answer, but the answer that we want to get here is the answer that you get when you are what? Completing a square. Alright, now if you are completing a square, what's the first step? The steps here, take this. Okay, that's not the first step. That's not the first step. Let's do the first step. The first step is that coefficient. It must be 1. So get rid of that 5. How do you get rid of that 5? You divide everything by that particular number there. So if it's whatever number, you divide each item because it's separated by plus or minus, so that goes. Do you see that? That's the first part. So what you'll have x squared. Now that goes again, minus x plus 1 over 5, leave it like that, is equal to 0. That's step number 1. Make sure that the coefficient of x squared is 1. Alright, so here I can say coefficient of x squared equal to 1. That is that. That was step 1. Step 2, ensure that this positive 5, it goes to the other side. Alright, so what will you have? You have got x squared minus x is equal to negative 1 over 5. Alright, that is step number 2. What about step number 3? Then you do the completion of a square. Take note of the number there. The number there is important. It's a 1. The coefficient of x is 1. So what do you say? You say x squared minus 1x plus, then you put a bracket. You say half times the coefficient of x, which is times minus 1, and then you square it. You see, I put it like that intentionally so that careful what is the number there. What do we call that? We call this the coefficient of x. Remember, this one we called it the coefficient of x squared there, but this one is called the coefficient of x with the sign. So it's half. If you look at it here, how do you do it? You say half times coefficient of x, and then you take that and then you square it. Did you see what I did? That's what you always do. So it's half the coefficient of x squared, and then don't forget in here is equal to minus 1 over 5, but you cannot just add that and leave it like that because equations must balance. So what you do on the left, you do on the right, and then you say plus again half times negative 1 squared. Same what you did on the left, you do on the right. Now look at this. This becomes x squared minus 1x. Then you have to simplify this. It's minus 1 over 2. Leave it in brackets. Just want to do this. Take it a bit further. We have a plus there. Plus this, leave it in brackets. Half times negative half is negative 1 over 2 squared. Leave it like that. Is equal to negative 1 over 5. And then actually you can simplify this side. Take a calculator, simplify, and find out what is it giving you. Alright, so if I say negative 1 over 5 and then plus bracket 1 over 2 times negative 1 squared. Needed to put a plus there, just to be careful there, plus, right? And then what do I have? I have got 1 over 20. I think it's fine like that. Let's leave it like that for now. Now, that's where completing a square, that's where the whole thing about completing a square means. Look at this. This is step number, the most important step was step number 3. So we've got step number 3, and then after step number 3 we go to step number 4. Here, look at the square, look at the square. For when they say completing a square, what they mean is you take that, the one with the square you see is x, and what is it with the square? It's the sign, also minus 1 over 2. Now the square there comes now like that. So you take that, don't note the square, you take what is inside, so x minus half, but the square is now outside, equal to 1 over 20. You have completed the square. So now what it means, remember you are solving for x, but remember how to get rid of that square. You square root. So what do you square root? X minus 1 over 2 squared. What you do on the left, remember what I told you, you do on the right, but you say plus or minus, and then you've got square root of 1 over 20. Don't forget the plus or minus. Then you've got x, that minus 1 over 2 is equal to plus or minus square root of 1 over 20. Okay, then remember that's how that and that goes off. You don't cancel, but square root of a square, that's what it does. Then minus goes this side. It will be x is equal to, from minus is 1 over 2. Start with the number from here. Alright, so that is number. And then this, again I forgot my stage. This is step number 5. Then the rest is just solving for x, which is plus or minus what? Square root of 1 over 20. Then you've got 2 answers that you need to solve. Let's check if these answers are matching the one that we did. So we've got 1 over 2. Let's start with the plus square root of 1 over 20. see 0.72. Let me go back. The other one 0.72, put a minus, equal to 0, shift setup. Let's round off 6 to 2 decimal places. 0.28, 0.72, or x is equal to 0.28. Now compare the answers to the ones that we did previously. There it is, 0.72, 0.28. Guys, you can see that it works. Completing a square and solving for x using the quadratic formula will still give you the same answer. So just know that. Let's do the second one now. Also matching, just seeing whether it's possible. Now I'm not gonna do now the longer way, I'm gonna do it much quicker. Let's look at this. Remember, this is ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. Before I do it, can you try it on your own? Try this. Number 1, use quadratic equation, use the formula. Number 2, what do you use? I want you to you complete a square. Complete a square. Try that for me. Pause this video, and then after pausing the video, you will then check your answer against mine. Can you do that for me? Can you do that for me? Try that, try that, try that. Already I've given you hints here. Alright, I'm giving you time to try. Don't just watch me like you're a spectator in a football match, eh? I'm not the player here. Or some of you end up taking me like an actor, you know. It's like I'm acting maths and you're just watching. You guys need to practice also. Alright, so pause the video and do what I'm saying. Try it on your own. Alright, so check this out. If you cut the coefficient of x squared, what? A is 7. Coefficient of x with the sign, don't forget the signs. B is equal to 3. Then c with the sign, c is what? -2. Don't say 2. That's where most of you will lose it. If you forget the signs, then you're gone. Let's write the formula. X is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Formula is important. Writing it correctly is very important. Now minus, we've got minus b now is positive, so minus bracket 3 plus or minus square root of b squared bracket, always put brackets, 3 squared minus 4a is bracket 7, c is bracket -2 all over 2a is bracket 7. Don't forget the brackets and the signs. Now the calculator then will be able, at this stage, whenever they say round off to 2 decimal places, just know it's not going to be easy to use it without the calculator. -3, start with the plus, square root of bracket 3 squared minus 4, a is 7, c is -2 all over 2, 7. See that? Equal to, press the first one here, that's the number, which is 0.36, 2 decimal places. Shift setup, I told you can round off 6, and then you say 2. Press SD, 0.36, play backward, delete after 0.36, it's what? -0.79. 0.36 or x is equal to -0.79. I showed you how you can test it with the calculator, but me, I will test it with my difference of 2 squares. If the answers are matching, then I'm good to go. So let's use the difference of 2 squares here. What is it saying? It is saying 7x squared plus 3x and then minus 2 equal to 0. Now I'm using the different, I'm completing a square now. This is completing a square. Right, first things first, number 1, that is cannot be. You need to divide by that. That's the first step. Divide by 7 on each item, because it must be a 1. There must always be a 1 there, so that you've got x squared plus, now look how you write this. This is how you write it, 3 over 7x. Do you see how you write it? Minus 2 over 7 is equal to 0. I know you want to say 3x over 7 is fine, but this is the best way. Then after that, take that to the other side because it must not be there. So you can have x squared plus 3 over 7x is equal to, from negative it becomes positive, which is 2 over 7. Getting better and better. And from there you are ready to know the coefficient of x. This is the coefficient. This is the coefficient of x. Remember, you're going to say half times coefficient of x squared. That's how you complete a square. So you're going to say x squared plus, you write it as is first, 3 over 7x, then plus, look at it. Then now we do the coefficient of x. We say 1 over 2 times the coefficient of x is 3 over 7, half the coefficient of x, put a bracket, and then you square it. So that is equal to 2 over 7, what you do on the left you do on the right, plus 1 over 2 times 3 over 7 squared. You must match it. Now when you use a calculator, you're gonna have x squared plus 3 over 7x plus, don't get rid of that bracket, you still need that square, leave it like that. Now half times this, if you use a calculator, 1 times 3 it's 3 over 2 times 7 is 14. Alright, then is equal to, calculator then can be used on the other side, where you've got 2 over 7 and then plus, then you've got 1 over 2 times 3 over 7. Remember, this is squared. It's 65 over 196. 65 over 196. You don't have to worry with funny numbers, but just do it like that. Don't avoid decimals. Leave it as fractions for now. Now look at this. That's where now the final answer comes in. There is a square there. There is a square there. So what you do, you put a bracket, you put that square there. But what you write, that you write here, inside here you write there, 3 over 14. What is the sign inside? Is a plus, so you also put a plus. Is equal to 65 over 196. Finish it up. How do you finish up? Then get rid of that square root. X plus 3 over 14 squared is equal to plus or minus. The moment I put square root, you say plus or minus square root also of 65 over 196. Once you forget that, you are gone. Don't forget the plus or minus. Then at that stage, this is positive, it will go that side. You will have x is equal to negative 3 over 14 plus or minus square root of 65 over 196. Then you get two answers. X is equal to and x is equal to. that's where now two answers are coming in. So you've got negative 3 over 14 plus square root of 65 over 196. Then you do that, press ST. 0.36 is the first one. Remember, shift setup if you want to round off 6 and 2 decimal places. So the first one is 0.36, play back, and the other one is negative 0.79. 0.36 and negative 0.79. Compare. If they match, then it's good to go. 0.36 negative 0.79. 0.36 negative 0.79. Guys, that's what I do when I say complete a square or solve for x with the quadratic equation. So it's up to you which one you're going to choose. In an exam, if they don't specify, you can use either. If they specify, they say complete a square, you don't have an option, you need to complete the square. But the most preferred one is this one, quadratic equation. The moment they give you, just go for the quadratic equation. It's the standard way of solving, because you can see even the steps involved, the answer is just 2 steps away. Look at completing a square. It's a lot of work. So don't find yourself every time you're solving for x like that, you are completing a square. So guys, we've come to the end of our lesson. You guys, if you are struggling with your math and you want me to quickly solve something for you, remember I'm now on Instagram, and then my handle is Confi Nkwazi. Go and like me there, go and follow there, so that you can be able to communicate. Take a picture, send me what you're struggling with, and then I'll be able to assist you. Now there is your homework. Obvious guys, there is a homework. I'm not gonna let you go without a homework. I want you to solve for x using number 1, using the what? The quadratic formula. Number 2, by completing a square. Alright, those 2, that's what you're gonna do. But now let's write it down. What is the first question? Question number 1. What do I have? I've got 2x squared plus 5x, and then minus 8 is equal to 0, right? And then number 2, it's negative x squared. If it doesn't get, if you get an error on it, sometimes don't stress, because I'm just getting this from my head. It's negative x squared, let's say plus 8x, and then let's say plus let's say 3 is equal to 0. I hope it will solve. Okay, go and try this. As I told you, I've got my I don't know where I put, remember my Instagram, Confinkwazi, on Instagram, and then solve this homework. Then you'll be able to talk to me and see if ever you struggled. Now what's the next video? This is the next video that I'll be doing. You see guys, the next video is on what? Square roots, equations involving square roots. Look at the marker location, very good on marks. We've come to the end of our lesson. Remember, you need to be subscribed and ensure that the notification bell is turned on so that you can be notified every time I post a new video. Also, share the channel to your friends, guys, and colleagues. They also want to benefit. Thank you.